Oh my sweet altcoins. It's giving me a little mixed feelings, and I'm gonna show you a couple of charts that are pretty damn interesting. So guys, if you are ready for some big gains in crypto, please smack that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notification, and let's take a look at the altcoin market. And with smack the like button, I mean smack it really good. So like I said, I'm getting a little mixed feelings right here, because I'm talking a lot about the fact that altcoins are maybe quite dangerous right now, and that they can really wreck you, and you should be careful with them. And so far that has been playing out perfectly, but I'm getting close to maybe it's good to buy some. Why do I think that? Well, let's take a look at the market first. So Bitcoin, it made a new cycle high last night of 29,000, and this line is like right there, 29,182. So that's a new high. It was a fake out. We got a perfect rejection off of this line right here. I don't know why it's so perfect, but it's so perfect. But what's together pumping with Bitcoin is the Bitcoin dominance as well, right? And that's what we talked about a lot. The Bitcoin dominance shows how much, you know, money of the crypto market is sitting in Bitcoin instead of other assets like altcoins. Also like stable coins, but compared to altcoins mostly. So what you see right here is Bitcoin is overall outperforming altcoins. And you can feel like, nah, my altcoin is doing fine. Could definitely be the case. Exceptions are always there, but overall altcoins are not doing so well against Bitcoin. That's good. Why is that good? Because if altcoins come down, it means that they eventually can come up a lot harder, of course, right? You might feel like, yeah, well, this only shows that people are deploying their cash into crypto or into Bitcoin and not from their altcoins. It's not necessarily true. We could take a look at the chart without stable coins. So, you know, this is the dominance including stable coins, but this is the dominance excluding stable coins. And as you can see, that's also been pumping since like already a year. 2 years, sorry. So it came from 42%, 41%, and it's now sitting at 52%. So that's quite a lot higher. Like I said, I do have some reasons to believe why it might be getting a good time to buy altcoins. Now, like I said, my strategy is buying Bitcoin when there is a dip and then buy altcoins with that Bitcoin. Like I said, so far that has played out perfectly, right? Because the dominance is going up, so your Bitcoin is doing better against these altcoins. As you can see right here as well, Bitcoin has clearly broken out of this diagonal trend line right here. We had two perfect retests and it blasted right through, right? But if we look at the total 3, for example, still in that pattern. So altcoins are running behind. That's what it is. However, if you bought altcoins with your dollars, because you do not have Bitcoin, for example, depends on what altcoins you've bought and when you bought them. But some altcoins are really doing good. And that's mostly, you know, because a lot of altcoins were really underperforming and were really oversold. Look, I mean, like Gala, if you bought Gala right somewhere here in this area, look, I mean, it's kind of double how people look at the crypto market right now. Right, some people say like, yo, but altcoins are doing freaking awesome. And it depends. Like, yeah, I mean, Gala is sitting 163% from its lows, definitely. But you can also look at it like this. It still sits 95% from its highs, right? So it really depends on where you bought it. If you bought it right here, congratulations. Were you very smart or were you lucky? Because we had a lot of these dips, right? And every dip so far was throwing your money away. And this was so far the dip that finally pushes a lot higher. So a lot did very well. There are some new altcoins, some low cap altcoins that are really blowing up, some AI altcoins, some layer ones that are really gaining momentum right now. So that's very good. Overall, against Bitcoin, they are just not doing so well, right? Gala as well. If you look at Bitcoin, like Bitcoin is almost 60% down. But if you look at Gala, it's 90% down against Bitcoin. That's already 60% down against the dollar on its own, right? So therefore, you want to be in you want to be in Bitcoin in a bear market, right? That's simply what it is, because Bitcoin is already going down enough, right? So why would you also go into an altcoin that's also bleeding against Bitcoin then? That's kind of stupid. But we have to know when to adjust, right? When we should look at the market and be like, okay, maybe it's a good time. Now, there are some reasons for me to believe still that altcoins could be very wrecked against Bitcoin. So let me very quickly say why I think that. But then let me also say why I am kind of changing my mind right now. And it's not like that you could say in the comments like now, like, yeah, you're all over the place. And when the market changes, you should change the way you look at the markets, of course. Otherwise, you turn into a capo and you still think that everything is going to 12K and it's going to shit. And even if it happens, in the meantime, you miss out on a lot, right? That's not what you want. We want to make money here. So I'm halfway. I'm looking at it one way. I'm looking at it the other way as well. And yeah, there are people that look like, okay, altcoins will go up. And there are people that will be like, oh, altcoins will go down. One of the two is going to be right. Well, everybody's going to be right. But, so what camp you're on, please don't come with like, yo, I told you so. It's 50-50 right here. Try to look at both sides of the scenarios right here. So why do I think that altcoins still might be in danger? Simply because of this, like, and again, don't get me wrong, exceptions are there, but overall, an altcoin chart looks like this compared to Bitcoin, right? So this is Cardano, for example, Cardano Bitcoin, but I can also do this with AVAX. I can also do this with Arweave. Look, all these charts look the same. So what I basically see in these charts is very simple, right? We have a high, I don't know, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and we have a low, we have a lower low, we have a lower low, we have a lower low. So the trend for a lot of these altcoins is down still, and you don't want you don't. People sometimes confuse with buying the dip or buying at a good level and buying something that is going down. I explained a lot on this channel. That a cycle has 4 phases, right? We have the accumulation phase where it's going sideways. Then we have the uptrend where it's going up. That's okay. I want to talk about that later. Then we have the distribution phase where it's pretty much going sideways like this in the top range. And then we have the downtrend, and then it starts all over again, right? Now, what do you do in each phase? In the accumulation phase, you accumulate, all right? In the uptrend, you can still accumulate, but you're basically already making money. In the distribution phase, that's where you take your profits. In the downtrend, it's, when it comes to investing, there's not much you can do right there. And then that's the part where we kind of are right now, right? And that's where you have to be patient. And if you did not prepare for all this, where you lose your money. And then we start all over again. Now, the problem is that people often feel like, let me buy the dip, let me buy the dip, let me buy the dip, let me buy the dip. And they're throwing all this money away. Well, you can better buy it right here, right? Buy the dip, or even buy it a little right here. So you at least have the confirmation that the downtrend is over. Because if I look, for example, now at this chart, and again, a lot of charts look like this, is this a accumulation phase, an uptrend, a distribution phase, or a downtrend? This is down, right? So why would you buy something when it still goes down, right? And that's one reason why I still do believe that altcoins are not the best play right now, because a lot of charts still go down, right? A lot of charts still go down overall. And for the people that say like, yeah, but you're now looking at older altcoins and whatnot, look, I mean, this is the total 3. This is every altcoin, right? And yeah, I kind of get that, this was a clear downtrend and it's now going sideways, definitely. But you must take in consideration that if you zoom out a little bit on this chart right here, it's still a high, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, and a lower high. And same goes for the lows. right? So it's not really over yet. And that the downtrend has cooled off a little bit is a good sign, but it doesn't mean it's over, right? It doesn't mean we cannot go down anymore, right? So, and well, also when it comes to altcoins, this is the trend, this falling wedge right here. We have good opportunities of buying at the lower side of the wedge, right? If you bought right here, you made a huge gain. If you took your profits here, of course. If you bought here, you made a huge gain. Doesn't look like much, but that June relief rally was quite big. If you bought here, you made a huge gain, right? But when do you don't make huge gains? When you buy the top, we never came higher, right? When you bought here, we never went higher. When you bought here, we never went higher. Now, when you probably buy here, who says we are going higher now, right? Because we are still in this range. So when we look at this range, it's very likely that we do this, you know, according to this. Unless you want to bet your money on that this time is different, but that's a risk you must consider yourself to take. So that's why I do think that altcoins are still a little dangerous. And yeah, like I said, so far it was better to be in Bitcoin still. Now, there are some things, though, that make me a little more bullish on altcoins. And I'm not necessarily saying let's all go crazy on altcoins today, but the time might be coming right now. And I got some good reasons for that as well. Look, the Bitcoin dominance, like I said, oh yeah, and one more reason, by the way, is to be careful with altcoins is as well. Look, the Bitcoin dominance, it went up a lot, right? So money was flowing from altcoins into Bitcoin. That's mainly the reason why Bitcoin is also pumping that much, right? It's not that a lot of new money comes into the market, also, but not a lot of new money. It's mainly because people are just shifting, right? Their altcoins, you know, that liquidity flows right into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has been pumping quite hard. Now, the problem is, because Bitcoin pumped quite hard, and we go back to these Bitcoin charts, like for example, again, Cardano had big support right here, right? We had resistance right here at this point. We had little support here, we had support here, we had lots of support here. And when the Bitcoin dominance came up, you know, we broke through that support level. The problem right now, though, is that if Bitcoin sees a pullback, right, which is, in my opinion, still very likely to happen, instead of breaking that 30K at once, we could, but I don't know. Then these altcoins really don't have that previous support anymore. So then for altcoins, it's also a free fall, right? And in that case, you know, it could definitely be that altcoins go a lot lower against a dollar pair as well. Unless, so that's the bearish scenario for altcoins. The bullish scenario, unless the Bitcoin dominance decides to go down as well, right? So that Bitcoin money flows back into altcoin money. Now then it depends, like what would happen to the altcoin dollar price. And to be really honest, you should not care that much about altcoin dollars, because I know for a fact that, especially in the last bull run, I had X amount of Bitcoin. And I was focusing so much on altcoins and dollars, and my portfolio had an X amount of Bitcoin worth, let me put it like that. And after a year of investing and trading, I figured like, okay, didn't do so bad. But then I looked at my Bitcoin value, and it was less. So I was like, wow, all this trouble for altcoins right now, when if I just stayed in Bitcoin, I would have the same as I had before. It would save me a lot of trouble, and I have more money than I have right now. So your Bitcoin value is also, I think, very important. Well, nevertheless, what could happen to the altcoin market right now? Well, this Bitcoin dominance right here, you know, it's been ranging since May 21. So almost 2 years right now, from the lowest side to the upside, low side, upside, low side, upside. And I think it was, I said here, like, yo, be careful because it could pump. And if you were more in Bitcoin, I'm happy for you. But now is the point that you might feel like, okay, now what? If we should believe the range, then it's very likely that we go down again, right? Because that's just what it's doing since 2 years. So am I to say that it's unlikely that it goes down again? At some point we will break out though. So let's say you have some Bitcoin and you could ask yourself the question like, yo, should I deploy some Bitcoin into altcoins right now? I would say, yeah, but DCA, because who am I to fight a trend of 2 years, right? At some point we will break out. Maybe we go to 49% first, but you know, at 48%, should we really cherry pick that last percent? We cannot time the top. We cannot time the bottom. That's not what we should do. That's not what I'm trying to do. So don't get me wrong. And a lot, you know, you might feel like, yo, if we go down right now, just like we did in June, right? From June to August 2022, look at the total 3. From June to August 2022, that was here. It was this low till this high. 40% move, okay? Now, this includes stables, so on average for altcoins, that's a 60% move. That was a big rally for altcoins, right? And I saw some altcoins going up 300, 400, 500%, right? But, you know, is that what we can expect right now? Well, like I said earlier as well, this was when Bitcoin was also going up from June to August. Look what Bitcoin did from June to August. June, Bitcoin was 17K and it went to 25, right? So Bitcoin went up 44%. However, this time is a little different when it comes to that because Bitcoin is sitting at major resistance instead of, you know, support, right? We had that support here, we had support here. Like Bitcoin was at its low of the cycle. So of course it had a big bounce, right? Can we expect another 44% move right now? Yeah, that would take Bitcoin to around 40K, right? So, and it's not impossible. But if that happens while the dominance goes down, that's when we see a mini altcoin rally season, right? But if the dominance now gets rejected while Bitcoin is also going down, we have to see. But then the move, if there is a move, and maybe altcoins will just bleed with Bitcoin, but if there's already a move, then it won't be big for altcoins. So that's the thing. But then why am I quite bullish on altcoins now? Well, again, you have to look at your altcoin Bitcoin valuation also. If you can double your Bitcoin valuation, dude, you're doing fine. If you traded this pattern, it doesn't matter what happened with dollars right here. You have so much more Bitcoin right now. And you know the Bitcoin future is bright, right? So it's I guess there's a higher chance for us to get rejected right here than that we break through. But I won't be surprised. At a certain point, we will break through. And then altcoins will bleed against Bitcoin a lot more. But that could also happen as soon as we really see a Bitcoin run. So then it will be something like we have right now, where Bitcoin goes up quite hard, and altcoins maybe a little bit. Maybe some will do way better, but not an alt season or something like that, right? So altcoins don't necessarily have to bleed against dollar. So I guess that we will come down. So in that case, yeah, if you have Bitcoin and you convert it to altcoins right now and this plays out, doesn't matter what the dollar does, you make more Bitcoin. So that's cool. Another reason for me to believe that we are getting quite bullish right here is also the dominance when you don't include stables, right, is also sitting at some big resistance almost. We are now sitting here at 52%. Where's the bigger resistance sitting? I think that this peak right here, this peak, 54% is God damn it, come on, is a pretty decent resistance area. I mean, that's why we have this little bump right here. That's why we have this support right here. That's why we have this resistance, kind of this resistance. That's why we had this little thing right here and a little stuff going on right here. It's, you know, I think that's fair to say that we can get rejected right there. But it could also happen right now. So therefore, I won't try to time it really. But also, if you look at the altcoin season index indicator, this is pretty interesting. So if you look at the ROI time frame of 30 days, you see that if we are in the green zone, it's Bitcoin season. If we are in the red zone, it's altcoin season. Look where we are. It's the biggest Bitcoin season that you can think of. As I showed you, if you look at the Bitcoin dominance going up so hard, yeah. This, if anyone calls for an altcoin season right now, they're blind. They can recharge. Sorry, but they are no. But the positive thing is that what's the purpose of buying altcoins when we are already in an altcoin season, right? That's no use, right? And if I look at this chart right here, yeah, to be honest, look, I mean, we are sitting very low. On the 30-day time frame, on the 60-day, it's still going down though, and on the 90-day, we are just entering the Bitcoin season. But if you look at this, right, then I feel like, okay, we are getting quite low. Now, it differs per time frame. Let me take away this moving average as well, so you have, yeah. So it differs per time frame. But if you look at this, we are getting here right now. Since, you know, the beginning of March, we entered real Bitcoin season. And since then, Bitcoin has been ripping as well. But if you look at the previous times we entered Bitcoin season, we did not stay there very long, right? Like here, for example, as well. In December, we entered. And in January, we already got out of it, right? And we do not stay there for very long. So according to this indicator, it's pretty handy to trade Bitcoin and altcoins, right? And I mean, how much lower can we go? Yeah, we can go a little lower, of course. We went to zero even. But we now... Well, we went to zero here as well. We're now sitting at 2.08 out of the 100. Okay, so that's a lot, or that's not a lot. If you look at the 60 days, then you'll see we're not really at the bottom. But if you look at where we bounced before, we pretty much in that area. Now that's where on this time frame we stay there a little longer, right? Here we entered Bitcoin season in May 2019, and in, you know, September, so May, June, July, August, September, 4 months give or take. Here it was more like 3 months, maybe here May until June, a month. So you cannot time that exactly. We also don't stay very long in this Bitcoin season area. So to maybe now convert some Bitcoin into altcoins is not a bad idea. Also, if you look at this, right, for the last 30 days, for example, this indicator has the top 50 coins. Right, so, and I know people are like, yeah, but these are altcoins. No, these are the best coins because they're still in the top 50. So this has the top 50 coins, right? If you look at the ROI, only now XRP had a higher ROI than Bitcoin in the last 30 days, right? Only XRP. And, you know, that's understandable. Not because XRP has been sustainably outperforming Bitcoin. It just had a very good run. XRP USDT. I mean, look, XRP really did well. I mean, it didn't do better than other altcoins. Let me put it like this. It did way worse than any other altcoin, basically. But the pump was in a shorter time frame, and it was, you know, quite high for the time frame that it was doing it, right? So therefore, over the last 30 days, XRP has outperformed, right? But if you look at the rest, Bitcoin has the best ROI. You know, Stellar, Ethereum, Stacks, Cardano, Monero, Neo, Phantom, Immutable X, BNB Chainlink, Leo Token, Avalanche. Every single one of them in the top 50 didn't come close to Bitcoin, right? Didn't come close. Bitcoin had an ROI of 23%. The next one was 17, right? And if you even look at Lido down, minus 20, ApeCoin minus 18. So overall, in the last month, you could say like, okay, let's go in altcoins. Oh, you really have to be lucky if you want to pick the altcoin that was outperforming Bitcoin, because out of the top 50, there was only one of them, right? And if you look over the last 60 days, it's a little different, right? That we had Stacks, Immutable X, Neo, the Graph, XRP, and then Bitcoin, right? But overall, the rest, Aptos, down hard. You know, ApeCoin down hard, Axie down hard, Decentraland, Near, Sandbox, Solana, popular coins, right? But down hard against Bitcoin. But it's because this went down very hard, right? Since February, so since more than a month, it went down very hard. We could stay here for a while, and altcoins can still get wrecked against Bitcoin. But then again, if I now look at the Bitcoin dominance again, where we sit at major resistance, I feel like, yeah, won't be surprised if we get a rejection right here, right? So altcoins might be a good play right now, to be really honest. And the Bitcoin dominance is just like, I don't know. It will get higher. It will get higher. But look at this. I mean, when does the Bitcoin dominance really run? Like, for example, January 2018 till September 2019, right? Let's take a look what Bitcoin itself did there. So January 2018 till September 2019. That was here, January 2018 till September 2019. What's quite funny is that Bitcoin, you know, was in its bear market and went all the way down and went all the way up. But in that area, it ended at the same area as where it started, basically, right? While the dominance was really ripping. So altcoins also bleeded hard against Bitcoin there. That's basically what it is, because this whole move up, all the money shifted from altcoins into Bitcoin. And what happened to the end of the day of Bitcoin? Same price as that it was when it started, basically. So it could still be the case that the dominance will rip, and that will happen now as well, right? That we, you know, have such a move, maybe something like this, right? So at the end of the day, Bitcoin's still the same, and altcoins are completely screwed. Could be. But for a shorter term trade, I won't be surprised if this is a very good area to put some money from alts into or from Bitcoin into alts. You know, other things are looking quite good as well. I mean, the DXY coming down, the dollar is crashing again. The S&P having a pretty good bounce above 4,000 again. So that's looking pretty good, still above this trend line. So, you know, everybody's talking about macro so bad. I don't think that the stock market is really, you know, like, yeah, the stock market went down like 27%, but it's now already just back at down 16%. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Oh yeah, and one last thing, by the way. Also, what I think is very bullish is, you know, this falling wedge right here again, that the total 3 is in. Okay, because a falling wedge, this pattern, usually breaks up to the upside. Right? Usually. I'm not saying it will, but that's the usual the response of a falling wedge. Again, we still could come down, in my opinion. It's possible. But let's say we finally break out. What's the target for a breakout of a falling wedge? Well, the target for a breakout of a falling wedge is basically from the top side to the lower side of a falling wedge. So if you take it from here and you take it to this point right here, right? So you have to put it like this. Let's say we break out here. Then this is the target, right? $1.3 trillion for altcoins. So that's a 270% gain for altcoins, so 400% because this includes stables. 400% is like 5x, give or take. So could altcoins overall that's an altcoin season, right? That's an altcoin season. But you know, I don't expect that to happen as long as Bitcoin is not breaking $29,000. I also must say, if Bitcoin will break this, I think the dominance will break with it, because that's just what happens, right? Bitcoin is ripping, Bitcoin is going up big time, and the Bitcoin dominance is basically doing the same right now. Yeah, we have to see, I say. But overall, turning Bitcoin into altcoins, I think it's pretty. I think we're getting there. Yeah, and maybe this is the best time to do it right now. I don't know, but I think I'm gonna DCA some a little bit of all the Bitcoin that I have, 20%, right? And I'm doing the next 20% here, next 20% here. That's 60. Then I'll, if it gets here, then I'll do another 20%, and the other I'm gonna leave in Bitcoin. I don't ever want to be without Bitcoin. Can't be without you. So yeah, that's how I'm looking at it. Let me know what you think about it. If you have any other thoughts or the same or whatever, let me know. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. If you want to trade some altcoins, check out Bybit. Link in the description of the video. If you trade with at least $100, you can win an iPhone 14. So that's pretty cool. And stay safe in this market. Let's make some money together, guys. See you soon.